Yeah, they appointed me and assigned me to be the host today, which I really like because I like being on the other side of the questions much better. That's for sure. And you only learn something when you're listening to answers of questions, right? I think. Let's start with you, Malik. Since Koby's here, Koby said 3 second-round picks for Andre Drummond. No, yes or no? No?
No, I'm gonna think about that.
That's how he always starts off.
I'll write it down.
Yeah.
So let's come back to you, Malik, since you said no. Tom, what year is this? Now you're 21st?
24th.
24th.
Wow. Yeah,
Wow.
the hit coach.
24 years.
I want to know why we come here, me and you. I guess it goes to prove. I thought you might be in a suit and tie, and I said the poor college guy can't afford these suits. But I guess it's the two workers on each end, and then these administrators are all dressed. We're still in our working man's gear.
You know, when you're a general manager of a franchise, they're serious guys, man.
I know
They're that way forever. Suits, they look good. They can distinguish themselves.
So the building's wrapped in glass, so I figured, yeah, they'd look nice for that, right?
Yeah, well, I understand.
How do you guys like this building that Dan had a big part of what
Have you ever been to a preseason game in a suit?
I usually don't go tie preseason. I don't give them everything preseason. But as we start to ramp up, I get going.
You're looking all right today. I guess. So let's go to now, Tom. We were talking to you, I think. I don't know what happened. So you, 24th year, if somebody said to you, you got to tell me exactly not exactly, but tell me the top 1 or 2 things you've learned the most in 24 years of coaching at the high level that you coach.
God, you guys start with difficult questions, I just say that the best thing is in recruiting, because better players make you a better coach, better players make you a better GM, and better players make you a better owner. So I guess we all got the same issue, but I think to get better players, you got to find guys that have some passion and some toughness, and that's what I've learned in my 24
Do you
years.
know when you sit down in the living room of a potential recruit, potential player, are there things instinctually that you feel like, this is a definite yes, I'm going for this, or not, this is something I don't like here? I mean, how quick does it come to you?
Well, I think it's easy to see if they can play, but then getting to know the kid is getting harder because everybody spends all their time on this, and so they don't communicate with you as well. And I think that's one of the harder parts. That's what I like about my team now. I think we got a pretty good communicating team, and they're getting better. And but that is difficult. I think it's getting difficult to read. I know you guys have those things in Chicago where you interview the guys, and I think you would agree, isn't it getting more difficult?
You think it's more difficult?
No, I would definitely agree with you, Coach. The generations are getting younger and younger, and it's not like it's wrong or anything. It's just harder to communicate, and in the business we're in, communication is key. You got to, communicate on the court. You got to communicate off the court. Try to communicate to keep small problems from becoming big problems, and getting close to kids like this. I mean, you in the recruiting game and in the NBA is no different. You got to have talent to win, but talent is getting younger and younger. But that's why we just try to get creative with some of the ways we, hire different people to communicate with people. We try to surround our players, our younger players that are hard to communicate with more people, and try to get the knowledge kind of on an aggregate as opposed to a one-to-one basis.
So Malik, you're unusual in the sense that not only do you excel on the court, but you immediately get into the business world, if you will, the business world of basketball, and you excel. I think you were retired in like 09-ish or something.
Yeah, I retired 09, yeah.
And then you go to well, I know you were in Atlanta, and you were also at the Erie Bayhawks.
Yes.
So tell us about the G League. We used to be the D League. When we got in the league and they called it the D League, I said, that's not really a good name. Who wants to call themselves the D League? There's only one for me, I guess. So the G League now for Gatorade, who's a sponsor. But tell us about the G League in general and what you learned there, and all these young guys trying to get up to the NBA. How is that whole culture?
Well, coming along, speaking on the lines of youth and how much younger our league is becoming, the G League is becoming another avenue for younger players to make it to the pro ranks. I don't know if Coach would like to hear that, because they can come in younger and younger now, and some of them are foregoing some of the years in college, not all of them. But The G League is a fantastic opportunity for not only players that are striving to get to the NBA, but for, Koby, I'm sure he can speak to this. We meet a lot of people on a daily basis that want to chase their dream of working in the NBA, be it on the business side or the basketball side. And the G League is proving to be a fantastic vehicle for young, smart individuals to come and, get experience, learn to be at the business side, the basketball side, anything in medical as well. Just learn their craft on their way to working in their dream job. And my experience in it, I was only in it for 1 year with our Erie Bayhawks, but I had a lot of good help there, people that helped me along the way, and we had a special year. We were the first team in league history to make it to the conference finals, first expansion team in league history to make it to the conference finals, and it was just, I got a lot of great memories there. But to the point, the league's getting younger. The G League is a great place for young guys, athletes and non-athletes, to come and learn their craft in hopes of getting to the NBA.
Now, Koby, you had a different route. Koby, the general manager of the Cleveland Cavaliers now, and I think you're the first or second youngest GM in the league, somewhere in there. But the way you carry yourself, obviously, is much, much different than being a young guy. I mean, you carry yourself with class and character, and you're nice to everybody, but you're also a pretty smart guy when it comes to basketball, and you have a great staff with you. But tell me how you look at this, and do you feel like when you're going into rooms and talking to people who have been doing this for 20, 30 years, guys like Tom Izzo's age or something like that, I want to see if you're paying attention. And how does that, did you have to put on a game face in there, or did you say, I'm just going to beat Wayne?
You have to be who you are, but at the same time, it's just really, really cool for me to be a part of this. Like right now, I'm on stage with a Hall of Fame coach, a national champion coach, a two-time NBA champion player, and he beat my Knicks when I was growing up, so I didn't love him. Hit some big jump shots at the Garden, remember that? And the owner of the biggest mortgage company in the world. So I'm on stage with that right now. So you have to take that in, appreciate that. But also for me and for everyone here is you have to be super prepared. Really prepared, do your research on whatever negotiation you're going into, or whatever situation you're going into. And then you get the respect because they hear you talk and they know you're prepared, and you get that respect right away. But no, it's hard to go on the phone with a Hall of Fame GM or a player or whatever and try to negotiate a deal, and you're like, I grew up idolizing you. But you have to prepare and be ready for that conversation and try to do the best for the franchise.
And just because he's Pat Riley talking on the phone, you're not going to give away our picks or anything.
No. But I did grow up loving him with the Knicks, and he left us, but it's okay. But no, it's a really, really amazing opportunity to be around these kind of minds.
So you used the word respect before, which is a very important thing. First, how many student athletes do we have in the room?
Bunch of students.
And how many people are in college, whether you're a student athlete or not right now here? And how many people are not in college? Okay, good, that's good, they're over here. Good, so let's talk about respect and then the differences. And you mentioned something about, all of you actually mentioned something. You mentioned about kids, it's different today, they're getting younger and younger. And you talked about them using their mobile devices, and when you're talking to them, I mean, what can a person, whether they're an athlete or not, you're interviewing them, let's just say for a position, right? What makes you say, wow, there's something good about this person, I really like them, I'm interested in them? What is it that they're doing or saying or being?
Well, I'll share the story that you and I had. One day I got a call from a friend of Dan's, and I was in Detroit, and he said, why don't you meet over at Dan's house? I wanted to talk to you about a job, maybe. And I went over there, and I took my wife, because I was at a function in Detroit, and I sat there in a living room, and my wife and I, and Dan was Dan, The energy and the passion he showed. My wife and I left there 3 hours later, and she said, oh my God, it was like overwhelming to her. And the first thing I said is, I could work for that guy. He's crazy, he's passionate, I know he's gonna do
you're
it.
at Michigan State still talking to these guys. You don't want to go anywhere ever.
I know, but I'm just telling you, you probably wouldn't have offered it to me anyway, but I mean, the point I'm saying is, I would look for the same thing when I'm looking. If a kid has some passion and is excited, and if he's just drab, so I would tell all of you, because some of you are going to be in business, that's why you're here. Some of you are going to interview for jobs. Some of you are going to interview for jobs. I was down in Detroit last week with Mark Hollis, and we spent some time down there. I took my wife around to show off what Dan has done in an area that Malik will be spending a lot of time in now, and it's just unbelievable. And you go through these businesses, and the passion and the excitement, that's what you guys do bring to the table. If you quit doing all this, I'd like you a little more personally, but I'll accept it, and I'll say, have some passion in what you do, because that attracted me as I looked at what you did. And I'm sure for you guys, if you got players that come in and are just grab, and
Like I told the team today about the opportunity to learn and grow and get better every day, and not just be so consumed with what's next. And I think what's hard for these kids is they see their names on rankings as early as 13 years old now, and they think they've made it. And our league is really hard. It's really, really hard. And so you have to embrace getting better every day.
What I would think about first when I heard that question is, there are a lot of the numbers, 1 in 20,000, and hard work beats talent every day of the week is like a saying a lot of coaches, my high school coach, college coach told me. So that's how I made it to the NBA or college and high school. I just, got a little bit bigger than people. I had a little bit of a growth spurt, but I worked hard. I always had a chip on my shoulder for wanting to prove people wrong. So I was a rebounder and a defender, and those things are conducive to being angry. It's conducive to rebounding and playing.
You look really angry today, man.
No, I'm not
You look
angry,
like the least angry guy I've ever
But no, so that's how I got there. But in the case what Koby's bringing up, like with the greats like LeBron and Tim, Kobe, Shaq, and those guys, Magic, it's like when you have someone that's talented and is the hardest worker, I think that might be where you get that difference.
So there are a lot of guys then, or are you saying this, let me clarify, are you saying there's a lot of guys that maybe did have, or maybe not a lot, but a handful of guys who had the potential of those superstars you just mentioned, but maybe the work ethic all along?
Yeah, it's a lot of it's timing, being in the right place at the right time, getting the right coach. I was fortunate, I was never highly recruited like that.
Superstars in different eras. I mean, do you like an orange or the number 7 better? What's better? It's like I used to do that to my kids growing up and freak them out when they were 5. That's why they're doing it right now. But what really, it's like sort of like comparing things that you can't. Yeah, they both played basketball, but different eras, different times, different game, different everything. How do you make that comparison? Yeah, I asked the basketball guy that question.
Well, you know what? He should answer. You played against both, right?
Yeah, I played against
for real.
Yeah, I'd say don't start off an interview with that question. They both were great.
We just told them to ask a question. Now they ask you.
Not that one. Don't start an interview off with that one. But no, they were both a nightmare to prepare for. And I did win a jump ball against Jordan once, so that's all I'll pretty much say about that.
They can never take that away from you.
No, they can never take that away from me.
Now bringing on board one of my favorite guys, and a guy that really did a lot for me and a lot for this building, and Mark Hollis, who's here, my former AD, and he's done a lot for us. And so I think this is one time, Malik, you can pull for Dan, not necessarily tonight, but you can pull for him. Koby, you should pull for him, and all honesty, you have to pull for him because he's your boss. But I pull for him for what he's done here. But if I took all the things he's done away, I pull for him because I love people that are difference makers. Who is a difference maker? There's a lot of good people, there's a lot of good players. Who's willing to step outside the box and make a difference for other people? Now, we have a saying that I guess Magic coined here: great players play great, elite players make others play great. You are an elite person in this state, and you're an elite person in Cleveland. And I just want to publicly thank you. Not to suck up, not hoping you'll get a job. I hope you listen to me on the next good player I got. But other than that, I'll put that to Koby. Thank you. And thank Jennifer. Thank your family.
First, tell us.
My name is William Petsalas. I'm a freshman.
Oh, wow! What's going on?
I'm sorry to crash the party, man. How you doing? Hey Malik, this is the head coaching staff of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, I see.
Make sure I don't see the Pistons.
Well, Mike, I'm sorry. I just came to say hello. I haven't seen you in a while, so I wanted to come say hello.
Thank you.
Yes,
How many years in a row have you been to the finals?
4.
As a head coach, how many times have you not been to the finals?
None. Nothing like this guy right here. Nothing like this guy right here. I'm gonna keep working. So I just want to say hello. I'm sorry for crashing your party. I see you in the locker room.
Wait, just Tom, ask him one question. Just ask him any question.
Uh-oh.
One question.
what are you going to do this year without that one guy that was pretty good?
Hey, we have to play together as a unit. I think we got to do it more by committee. You know, we had a great player, LeBron James, the best player in the world, and he did a good job of covering up mistakes we made. So now we got to be a high executing team, and we got to do it all together as one. That's good? Yeah. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach.